Welcome to Healthy Lifestyle. I'm Lori Anne Casdia. My goal and the goal of Healthy Lifestyle is to inspire, educate, and empower others to fulfilling a healthy, emotional, spiritual, and physical life so that they can feel empowered to live the life they have always wanted and dreamed. We should all lift each other up with encouragement and positivity. I am definitely driven by a desire to leave the world better than the one we inherited and relish the opportunity to make a difference one person at a time, one community at a time. I just want to take a moment and let you all know, if you caught us on May 12th, we are happy to say that Gary Joseph is coming back from Beyond the Spirits, back to dive into spirituality and beyond, and we are so looking forward to that. But right now, we're excited to have in the studio with us Dr. Matthew Aren. He's an owner of a chiropractic practice, and he's aligned in Center Reach and aligned with a pain management specialist, a physical therapist, and an acupuncturist. Welcome to the studio.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for joining us today.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Oh, gosh, my pleasure. So chiropractic, I've heard a lot of things about chiropractors not being doctors and all these silly little myths. And so let's talk about that one. Is a chiropractor a doctor?
Absolutely. Other than my 4 years of undergrad, I went to another 10 trimesters of chiropractic college, which is basically 5 years of school compressed into 3 years and 4 months. Wow.
That's a lot of time. So here's a couple of myths. I'm going to run down a bunch of myths that I've heard and other people have told me about. One is a chiropractic adjustment hurts.
If done properly, it shouldn't hurt. Very often patients come in to see us and they are in a lot of pain, and sometimes just putting them in a certain position might cause some of that pain or exacerbate some of the pain. So a good practitioner, like anything else, will know the limitations that the patient has, and if it's going to be an issue where it's going to hurt, we probably shouldn't do it.
Yeah, gotcha. Here's another myth. Chiropractic services or care is expensive. What do you think?
Expensive. Well, I guess value is
there you go.
is a big thing. When somebody is out of work or can't do the things they enjoy, they're gonna pay for it if they need it. Again, depending on what you do, most insurance companies cover it. So we do have to deal with any of the copayments or deductibles. So that can tend to be pricey. But I would think most chiropractic adjustments will run anywhere from $50 to $75, depending on who's doing it and what they're going to be doing, whether they're going to add a few other things or not.
Understood. Well, I try to put things in perspective. And, when you go to Starbucks and pay $5 for a coffee, that price for a chiropractic doctor doesn't seem so costly. It's a cup of coffee, right?
Week's worth at least.
There you go. Yeah. Well, I don't know. You don't know how much coffee I drink. I drink a lot there, Doc. How about this? Chiropractic adjustments are dangerous.
So again, like I mentioned before, good practitioners know what to look for. Mm-hmm. And there's certain warning signs that we would have to pick up on.
Right.
And obviously, if somebody comes in who has a history of stroke, or I noticed they might be slurring their speech or is very frail, I'm not going to treat them the same way I'm going to treat a 25-year-old elite athlete.
Gotcha.
That tweaked his spine.
Yeah.
So the safety issue, excuse me, if it's done properly and if we heed the warning signs that we can pick up from our patients, then it's very safe. In fact, we have one of the lowest malpractice rates out of all the medical professions. So that kind of tells you something, because they're a lot smarter than we are, those insurance companies.
Yeah, there
and these
you
actuaries.
Go. There you go. 2 thumbs up on that one. Yeah, and I'm a firm believer that your healthcare, you have to take responsibility for it, and your body the best. So you really they have to communicate with you. Right, Doc?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so to let them, they have to tell you what's going on, and it's important to be really upfront about it.
Yeah, feedback's the key.
Yeah, I gotcha. How about this one? I love this one because, well, I know the answer to this one, but once you start seeing a chiropractic doctor, you have to keep going for the rest of your life. Oh my gosh, that's such a commitment. Might as well be married.
I hear that a lot, actually. And, excuse me. we see many different types of patients. We have the patients that might have been out, spring finally sprung, might have been out in the garden, did a little too much work, tweaked their back. It might take a few weeks, a few visits to a few weeks to get that person feeling better. We do have a lot of other people that have chronic conditions, disc herniations, arthritic issues that might have, also laborers, contractors, electricians, plumbers, people that really work with their back.
Yeah.
Those kind of people, the arthritic people and the chronic pain people and the people with disc herniations, people with issues that are going to be with them for the rest of their lives, need to treat that for the rest of their life. Just like a diabetic is always going to have to treat their diabetes.
Yeah.
Or somebody with high blood pressure is probably always going to have to treat that. People with degenerative spines or degenerative type of issues and chronic permanent issues are always going to have to treat their spine. And, if they decide to use chiropractic to help with that, then they're probably going to continue that for the rest of their life because the condition's going to be there for the rest of their life.
Well, but that's condition based. That's not everybody. And should I only come to you when I tweak my back? Should I only come to you when I'm hurt? Because that's when I generally go to doctors. When I'm
not necessarily.
Not happy.
A lot of people do that. A lot of people do also seek the services of chiropractor for wellness. Just staying on top of them, staying on top of their bodies. They know their bodies best, and when the spine is in its natural alignment, the body's more efficient. When the body's more efficient, it works better, and it can heal and it can adapt to the different changes that might occur.
Now, when you say in an alignment and it works better, my understanding is, and I know from personal experience that when I hurt myself on the right side, I do have its propensity to kind of put a lot more pressure on the left side.
Compensate,
and then, to do that compensation. And then suddenly the left side starts hurting and the right side is getting better. Now I'm in one of those things, and that's when I generally come and see you. So what should one do? Because we do compensate. Is there a better methodology to that, or is it, come right to you so that you could straighten out, put us in alignment so we aren't leaning on one way or another?
Again, if somebody hurts themselves, then you want to go get it taken care of. Things typically tend to get worse. They don't typically tend to get better on their own. Sometimes they do, but most of the time they don't. We do tend to compensate.
So ignoring it doesn't mean it goes away.
Usually
right?
not.
Yeah.
But that's what happens. The body tends to compensate to take the pressure off of the injury. And then the side that you compensating it on tends to break down as well. So the best thing to do, if you hurt yourself or if you have a chronic issue and you've tried tons of different things, go in, check out the chiropractor and have them check you out and make sure everything is where it needs to be.
I know that you work in an office where there's multidisciplines. Talk to us about that, about how you utilize that, and it's not just chiropractic. Sometimes you refer back and forth. Yeah,
the ability to have other providers in the office and in the facility, I think, helps a lot. Sometimes there are people that don't respond well to my treatment, and we can refer them to somebody else. Sometimes people don't respond well to other treatments, and they'll come to me. Most people do see a physical therapist and the acupuncturist and myself at the same time, not necessarily, sometimes at the same day, right. Sometimes the same week,
right?
Because we all have different approaches to care.
Do you recommend doing multiple modalities for the healthcare, or it just depends on each individual?
Depends on each individual.
Okay. So here's another myth: children don't need chiropractors. Don't ever bring a child to a chiropractor. That's what I was told.
So I've been treating my kids since they came out, since they were born. I've treated many children over my 21 years of practice. Children are much more resilient than adults, but the things that cause the subluxations, which is the misalignments of the spine, we'll get into it at a different time. But the stresses that we have in our life, whether it be physical, chemical, emotional stresses, affect adults and they affect children as well. And those are the things that cause the subluxations, the misalignments. And children can be affected by that as well. And again, it's safe. We treat children much differently than we treat adults. I'm not going to adjust you the same way I'm going to adjust a 5-year-old. I'm not going to adjust a 5-year-old the same way I adjust an 18-month-old, and I'm not going to adjust an 18-month-old the same way I adjust an 8-day-old.
Do you adjust 18-month-olds and 5-year-olds?
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow. So the age is the entire gamut.
Cradle to grave.
Oh, wow. That was harsh. Because I'm on the other side of that cradle part. Well, that's pretty amazing. So you already spoke to the fact that insurance covers chiropractic services, that you have as much, if not more, schooling than medical doctors.
I wouldn't say more schooling, but just as much. Yeah.
Well, it seemed like it was a lot more. Why do you think people have that perception? Is it Alan from that show? No, I'm only kidding. I couldn't remember the show. What is it? The men one?
2.5 Men.
2.5 Men. Yeah, Alan from 2.5 Men gave you guys. Oh, okay.
I've seen episodes here and there, but I haven't seen the whole series.
He was a train wreck.
Yeah, it seemed that way.
You are not a train wreck in any way, shape, or form. You're
I appreciate it. I think it's an alternative, and that's what it comes down to. It's different. Most of us are brought up with, if you have a sniffle, if you have an issue, if you injure yourself, go to the MD. And medical doctors are trained to do blood work, to take x-rays or MRIs, and then refer out to another specialist, whether it be an orthopedist, a physical therapist. And that's it's a training thing. And it's different. And like anything else, when things change, they're the early adapters to things.
Yeah.
And then at some point, it gets to a point where more people utilize it, and it's not different anymore.
Is it becoming more specialized?
Chiropractic?
Yeah. That some people are better. I know it's not solely back injuries. What other things do you treat? Because I think chiropractic, I think, oh my God, I hurt my back.
Right. Well, that's a tricky question. In New York, we're licensed to treat spinal subluxations.
Okay.
To care for spinal subluxations.
Okay.
We are trained to rehabilitate shoulders and knees and ankles and wrists and stuff like that. In New York, though, however, we cannot do that at this point. When I described earlier the subluxation and how that kind of affects the body's adaptability, so a lot of the issues that we may have, whether it be seasonal allergies or asthma or children with ear infections or babies with colic, very often that comes from the subluxation. The subluxation is going to alter the body's mechanics. It's going to alter the way that the body accepts the messages from the brain and the way the brain accepts the messages to the body. And if the body isn't working as efficiently, it's not going to adapt. It can cause some of those other issues.
Okay.
So that's really where that comes from.
Understood. Well, you're listening to Healthy Lifestyle. I'm Lori Anne Casdia, and right now we are speaking to Dr. Matthew Aren. He's a chiropractor, and we're talking about the myths of going to a chiropractic doctor. So let's talk about that. Not treating just back pain, but when you do in the snap of the neck, that thing, when you do that, it freaks me out. Why do you do that, and why is that noise is just so alarming? What's happening? What's making that noise? I know it's safe, but what's making that noise? So
nothing cracks, nothing breaks. Ultimately, it's just air that's getting released from the joint. Each joint is surrounded by a lining, if you would. That lining is filled with fluid, and that fluid is there to just keep everything moving freely and smoothly. There's a certain amount of pressure that's built up within the joint. There's a different pressure that's outside of the joint. And the adjustment works on equalizing that pressure, if you would. When there is a subluxation within the joint, the pressure is going to build up. If there's an issue with the motion in the joint, the pressure is going to build up. And the adjustment, once it realigns the spine, it equalizes that pressure and it makes that noise. It's kind of very similar to a soda bottle. The soda bottle is pressurized. You don't see any of those bubbles. As soon as you open it up, pressure equalizes and all those bubbles appear and start popping.
Sure.
So it's very similar to that, and that's really what you hear. But nothing breaks, nothing cracks.
Right. So, what's the typical length of service that somebody has when they come to you? So every time they come see you, is it 20 minutes? Is it an hour?
So it varies depending on the technique that the chiropractor is going to use. Mm-hmm. The realignment of the spine, the adjustment, can take a minute or two. Doesn't really take all that much time to analyze, find what we need to find, and make the correction.
And you take a full diagnostic from the patient before you even touch them, correct?
Yeah. Initially, we're going to do an evaluation. We're going to do an examination. We're going to refer for any type of radiology if we need X-rays, MRIs. It really depends on the condition, but it's a full orthopedic, neurological, chiropractic exam. We're going to check ranges of motion. We're going to obviously look at the history. We're going to check certain orthopedic tests. We're going to put you through certain motions just to see what we're dealing with. We're going to palpate, meaning we're going to use our hands to feel the muscle tone and the play with the vertebrae, certain motion, which vertebrae are moving freely, which vertebrae aren't, and then we go ahead and make those adjustments. But like I said, the adjustment itself takes several minutes. Now, some chiropractors and some patients will need maybe some stretching, maybe do some physical therapy modalities, whether it be electric muscle stim, ultrasound, hot packs, cold packs.
Right.
So there are some chiropractors out there that will spend 3 to 5 minutes with a patient, and there's some chiropractors out there that will spend 45 minutes with a patient.
Okay. And that might be determined based on their condition?
Determined based on their condition, determined based on the philosophy of the chiropractor, how they choose to practice.
Understood. Now, I understand that you are affiliated with J.T. Mather Hospital. Talk to me about that.
So several years ago, Mather Hospital in Port Jefferson decided to have an affiliation program with local chiropractors. It basically stemmed out of the need to take some of the pressure off the emergency room.
Oh, understood.
Many of the ER visits across the country, not just in Port Jefferson, many of the ER visits have to do with back and neck pain. So they decided to open up a back and neck clinic and to affiliate with chiropractors in the area. There are about 40 of us, I believe, that are affiliated with Mather Hospital. We don't have privileges. We don't treat in the hospital, but on the Mather website, you click on find a doctor, and it'll ask you if you want a physician or a chiropractor, then it'll list all the chiropractors.
Oh, wow. Yeah, because Mather Hospital has a back and neck pain center.
They do.
Yeah, and you're part of that team.
I am.
That's wonderful. And the other thing I wanted to let everyone know, and this is really exciting to me because I'm a golfer, you're affiliated, as I understand, with the U.S. Open, including Shinnecock and Southampton this year.
I am.
So exciting. What are you going to do with them?
So a chiropractor in Nassau County, Jeff Popolarski, started the wellness program on the wellness team, actually within the U.S. Open. He travels the country every year. I've done it only the past couple of times when it was in New York, and we're going to be there to treat the volunteers, the players, the caddies, the families. We're there for whatever they need chiropractic wise. There'll also be acupuncturists, massage therapists, personal trainers there as well to help them.
That's amazing. Yeah. I really want to thank you, Doc, for being on. I hope you can come back on soon to talk to our listeners because I think they're going to learn a lot from you.
I would love to. Thank you for having me.
That would be lovely. Thank you. You are listening to Healthy Lifestyle. I'm Lori Anne Casdia, and we will be right back. Welcome back to Healthy Lifestyle. I'm Lori Anne Casdia. If you have any questions, comments, or ideas on topics you'd like to hear more about, please email us at healthylifestyledream@gmail.com. Or, of course, you can follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Healthy Lifestyle Dream. I just wanted to introduce our next guest. I'm very excited to have her on. I am a big proponent of this organization. It's called Mondays at Racine, Cynthia Sansone. A little bit about Cynthia. In 2003, after losing her mother to breast cancer more than a decade earlier, Cynthia wanted to do something to honor her life, her memory, and her battle. Out of this need to help others feel beautiful inside and out, while dealing with the brutal effects that chemotherapy and radiation can have on their bodies, she founded the Mondays at Racine Cancer Care Foundation. Taking on the role of president of Mondays at Racine, Cynthia's mission, along with her sisters Rachel and Carla and her daughter Rosemary, was to reduce the physical, emotional, and cosmic side effects of chemotherapy and radiation by providing free in-salon beauty and wellness services the third Monday of every month. Since the launch in 2004, Mondays has grown and now offers services to clients every Monday. Welcome.
So much. You said cosmic, and I thought that was a kind of a Freudian slip because it's cosmetic, but cosmic also. I thought that was wonderful that you slipped that.
Did I say cosmic?
You said cosmic, and it is cosmic.
It is very cosmic. Well, everything seemingly here is cosmic. Oh, that's good. That was a good catch. That's so funny. Funny that it's cosmic, and you have a beauty line that's Life on Mars. So
Absolutely.
See what happened there?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, we're right in that.
It's all pre-planned.
We're right in sync with it. So talk to me about that. This is the most beautiful thing I had heard. A friend of mine, Betty Manzella, had introduced me to your organization. Mm-hmm. And since then, I have been absolutely in love with everything that you do. Tell our listeners what you do.
Yeah, well, it was 2002. I was sitting down at the beach at the Bluff down in Smithtown, and my mother just popped into my head and said to me, you and your sister have a salon there in Islip. Why aren't you giving back to the women in your community? In the 80s, when my mother went through her breast cancer, it is when we really needed the awareness, because my mother couldn't even say the word breast. It is if she was saying the word TIT.
Right.
Trying to keep it clean. This is a family show.
Yes, it is. Thank you. I appreciate that, Cynthia.
But anyway, she was made to feel like an outcast of society when she was losing her hair. We didn't really know a lot in the 80s, believe it. Just a few decades ago, and people were losing their hair. You didn't know if they had AIDS, if it was cancer. We really weren't, as well versed in cancer care as we are today. So she took to her bedroom after being treated like a pariah at her neighborhood salon. Her hair was falling out, and the girl behind the sink, she stepped back and she gasped. Oh. My mother saw this, and I'm an Italian girl. We can read lips, and we can sense vibrations. So my sisters and I whisked her out of there. She took to her bedroom. She died 2 years later, and this normally really vibrant woman became very depressed, and she wanted to be alone because of that incident.
Understandable.
And so when she came to me in 2002, I reacted immediately, thinking that once a month we should put this plan together. I called my sister Rachel immediately and said, this is something that we need to do. And the both of us put the plan into action.
It's great. So every Monday you have women and men alike who are undergoing chemotherapy and or radiation. They come to your salon, and what happens?
Yes, men and women going through any kind of cancer at all, not just breast cancer, are treated to complimentary services, which include massage, facial, reflexology, makeup, hair services, nails, toes, yoga, meditation, even nutritional advice, anything that a salon or spa offers, and that is goes through all of our protocols. We have a very big medical board that oversees all of the treatments that we do provide, so that they're all very safe for these clients. So each client can pick 2, or if we have room, 3 services. And for that day, they are treated, in a very healing way. We feel really strongly that we want to offset some of the physical side effects of chemotherapy and radiation therapy, and these treatments, without question, do.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, this is what I speak about all the time, about healthy emotional, spiritual, and physical life, and that balance. And when you feel good and pretty on the outside, it helps you feel even better on the inside, even when you're feeling icky. It's like getting a smile. When somebody smiles at you, you're not having a good day, and you smile back, and then you feel a little bit better. How we can really positively impact each other. That was a disservice what that salon had done to your mom, and what you're doing for these women and men is wonderful. I've seen them come out. They feel better about themselves. They're going through a hard thing, and to be able to be pampered and treated normally, and I love the respect that you give them, where you help them with the shaving of their hair as it's falling out, and then you wig them too, correct?
We absolutely do. That first step of losing hair is probably the most detrimental.
Yeah.
It is part of the reason that we were the subject of an HBO documentary. I hope I'm not jumping the gun on that.
No. Let's talk about that now.
Yeah, well, Sheila Nevins, the president of
Yes.
HBO Documentaries, was wondering what happened to a woman when she got diagnosed, knowing all too well that the nurses in the hospitals were the ones that used to shave heads. And with the insurances and everything that our lovely nurses need to do, that's not part of their protocols anymore. So what happens? We have found that women, when they are diagnosed, the first question they ask is, am I going to lose my hair? Not, am I going to die?
Right.
But am I going to lose my hair? So it's really such a detrimental part. We have seen quite a shift in that, and I don't know if it's from the media, Hollywood, or fashion showing that women with shaved heads can be very modern and new. But I've noticed even in the last 2 years, it is different. Listen, this is not a fashion statement. You're losing your hair. But where 10 years ago, we could take one person and it would take us a week to get over the experience of shaving her head, and how she was on the floor just screaming and crying about it. Where now I do feel like women are shaving their heads. They are feeling more empowered by it.
Brave.
They feel like they are taking control.
Yes.
So we do the shaving, and we offer complimentary scalp treatments, and then we will take a wig. We just had some beautiful wigs donated by you and one of your beautiful friends, and I want to give a shout out there.
To Chris, yeah.
To Chris, some of the most beautiful wigs. Thank you for that. And oftentimes our girls will cut those wigs to the woman's face so that they leave feeling great about themselves. And sometimes when their hair grows back, they still want to wear the wig because it looks so good.
Well, and hair is part of our identity as women and men. When our hair, we're having a good hair day, the old expression, having a good hair day. So I understand that emotional connection and that it's part of us that we're losing. So that you're taking that, you're making it almost a ceremony that's a celebration as opposed to anything else. I think that's a wonderful thing that you're doing for the men and the women who you do this for. And yes, Chris was very brave. He had lost his wife to cancer. She had quite the collection of various wigs, and he stepped up, and he wanted to make sure that they weren't going to go not to use, and brought all of these wigs. There had to be 30 plus. By the way, I have some more for you today, that he found some more, and donated them to you to give them to women who can't afford it or their insurance doesn't cover it. Does insurance cover things like that?
Insurance covers what's called a cranial prosthetic. Usually you get one, like a $2,000, stipend for a wig once in your lifetime.
Wow.
So, you hope that that's it. And, there are different resources where you can get a wig. Sometimes, it's a synthetic poodle do, which if you light a match close to it, you might go up in flame.
Right.
So you have to, it's not the most fashionable thing. We certainly don't want to put these on our younger women, because some of these, wigs that are donated, the wigs that you gave to me, I want to just share with you that I was able to give one to a lovely woman in our Smithtown location at the Maya Salon just last week. And I cannot tell you the ear-to-ear grin that she had. Her hair, it wasn't totally gone, but it was very stringy, and you could see her scalp. And she showed me a picture, and I said, "You hold on right here." And I went and I grabbed that frosted wig, that highlighted wig, long hair, beautiful. Well, I honestly, we'll share the pictures with you. Absolutely beautiful. You changed somebody's life with that wig. Chris, thank you. The mirror is a powerful tool.
Yes.
I always say it could cut you like a knife or be like a dozen roses. So
agreed.
You changed somebody's life that day.
Well, I didn't change it. Chris did and you did. I just facilitated Chris coming to you. And when he said he had all of them, I thought of you right away. I thought of Mondays at Racine. I know what you guys do. I know how you help people. You've really touched me. I'm sitting here trying not to lose it because it's nice to know that we can positively impact other people, and that I know which wig you're talking about. It was really delightful. It's pretty
beautiful.
All the wigs were gorgeous, weren't they? They were just
Absolutely.
beautiful. Fortunately, I don't need one, but if I had to, one of those wigs would have been very comforting for me. Needless to say. You're listening to Healthy Lifestyle. I'm Lori Anne Casdia, and we're here talking to Cynthia from Mondays at Racine, fighting back tears, because that's good news. It's happy tears because we were able to help somebody out. You do this all the time. The people in your salon, they're so wonderful to be able to do this. You also have a line of makeup that you have developed. Why did you develop this makeup? Why not use just any old makeup? Why this makeup?
Well, I had a very long career with Chanel Cosmetics during the 80s and 90s. And when I started the foundation in the early 2000s, I was using just regular cosmetics on these women. And when I started to do some research, I realized and my own belief system is that the parabens, phthalates, dyes, carcinogenic ingredients in some of these cosmetics actually inhibit and compromise the immune system. And I felt like as these women are fighting for their lives, fighting the chemotherapy that's killing them, they're fighting to survive. Why should their immune system be fighting this carmine dye in their lipstick, a lipstick that they're swallowing, or the hormone disruptors that are in a lot of nail polish? So I just want to say, by the grace of God, and I do believe that the Spirit came through me again, as it did that day on the beach, to do something, and I flicked Doubting Thomas off my shoulder. I put in my entire savings into creating this line, and it is now grown, and it is a totally chemical-free line. Some things are organic, some things are vegan, but our R&D department goes through every ingredient, so nothing is harmful. And believe it or not, we have a great amount of people in treatment who use it, and I give a lot of stuff away. But it is the millennials right now who are buying this line. They are more interested in looking to see what the ingredients are. Just like food, now it's happening in the cosmetic industry. And I think that people, it's the indie brands like myself, my brand, Life on Mars Beauty, that are able to do it. A big brand like a Lauder or a Chanel, they're not going to go and change everything that they have.
Hopefully in the future that they do, because as we become more enlightened and aware, the consumer is not accepting these products with these dangerous chemicals in it anymore. And as women, we shouldn't, especially since if we're in childbearing years, that has transcended and maybe has something to do with a high rate of autism in our country, of ADHD. All that stuff really affects us. So by having this chemical-free line, Life on Mars, really great. Love the lip plumping. Oh my gosh. It's yes. Love it.
Thank you.
By having these products available, it gives us choices. And you're right. We've seen a lot of millennials absolutely gravitating to that. It's continual efforts that you put forward. You just keep coming up with these things and always giving back. You all of the sisters, all of you have these huge hearts. You have this big gala that fundraises. It's in end of September, October?
The end of October.
And what happens
at
at
the Long Island Beauty Ball, and this will be our third beauty ball and our fifth gala. And this year at the Crest Hollow, we will again be hosting close to 1,000 people on a Monday night. And it's quite a different event. It's a real hybrid event of dinner and kind of a shopping night. What's the word?
Oh my gosh! Last year we had the Halloween gift bags kind of thing. You went from service to service, and you got samples from all the different people who had tables there. It was a big party. It was a really big party. We had a lot of dancing.
Right. And it's the only event where you'll see all the hospitals, Democrats, Republicans, everybody. There's no polarization on that night because everybody has somebody that they know that's going through. Yeah. Right now, and what I want to say is that Long Island, cancer is like the Black Plague of our time. This is my own feeling. I'm not quoting anybody. This is my own feeling. We are a hub for cancer, and an organization like Mondays at Racine has to continue to grow. We need the comprehensive services that an organization like this offers. And, there are other organizations that do exercise and do this and that, but we work to address all facets of the side effects, and we are respected by the medical community for some
Greatly.
Of the measures that we provide.
Some of the sponsors are like Brookhaven Hospital,
Northwell Hospital, Catholic Health Services.
Correct.
We service a lot of our Sloan clients. 35% of our client load does come from Sloan Kettering, although we haven't had the pleasure of their company yet. Hint, hint.
You have good hint. We'll take that up to Sloan. You also have a network of salons that also participate, correct?
Absolutely. And those go all the way from Port Jefferson to Bayport up to Rye, New York. And we are 14 salons going strong, plus yoga studios. Everybody gets licensed, everybody gets trained, and everybody provides these services for free.
And if any salon wants to get involved in this, how can they do that?
They can go to www.mondaysatracine.org, and that'll give you all the information on how to become a participating salon.
And what if someone has wigs like Chris did or something like that they want to donate to you? How do they go about doing that?
Well, they can contact the salon, Racine Salon at 631-224-5240 just to set up a drop-off date.
Okay.
And we may be asking you to either drop off there or at another salon. Again, it is always, very appreciated, those
indeed.
Types of gifts, those in-kind gifts that really cheer so many people up. It can make the difference in somebody's life.
And also buying tickets and going and attending this it's just getting bigger every year, I notice. It's wonderful. It's a really good time at the end of October. Keep it on your calendars, mark it down, go to the website, mondaysatracine.org. This way you can make sure that you don't miss this event at the end of October. We'll definitely have you back before then because we want to talk about more. There's so much more to talk about of all the things that you do. We kind of just touching base and making sure that people know about you.
And you know what, guys, if you're out there, if you know somebody, a family member, yourself, anybody, please contact us. Let us help you. We have 6 words we like to say, and that is, we can help you with that. And it doesn't matter what you're going through. We have the resources and we have the talent to help you. Let's make a change here on Long Island.
You are an angel on earth, I can tell you that, as are your sisters. Thank you so much for everything you're doing. Thank you so much for coming in today. It was really nice speaking to you.
Thank you so much, Lori.
Oh, my pleasure. You're a doll. And thank you all for joining us today on Healthy Lifestyle. I want to thank my guest today, Dr. Matthew Aren, our chiropractor, and of course, Cynthia Sansone from Mondays at Racine. I also, of course, want to thank our brilliant producer, Brian. Give a wave there. Only we can see that, of course. In the meantime, follow us and send comments to us on social media. And remember, do a little something for yourself every day. It starts there. It doesn't have to be big, but definitely take a moment and do something for yourself every day. Create the habit, create the new balance, show up for yourself, show up big. And thank you for joining us on Healthy Lifestyle. I'm Lori Anne Casdia. And until next time, have a great day, have a great week. Don't forget to be nice to yourself. Smile. When somebody sees you smile, you never know how you positively impact their day. Have a good one.